Under the guise of musicians in need of a space to practice, 5 bank robbers rent a room in an old woman's house, who also happens to be key to their plans. But when she uncovers the plot, the thieves are faced with the choice of murdering a sweet, innocent old lady or going to jail. In the 1955 dark comedy, The Ladykillers. And that's the movie we're dusting off this week on Movie Bones.
Mrs. Wilberforce?
Yes?
I understand you have rooms to let.
Oh, the rooms, yes. Won't you come in, please?
Thank you. My name is Marcus.
How do you do, Mr. Marcus?
Professor Marcus.
Oh, how do you do, Professor? But the 2 rooms at the rear, they're quite all right.
Then you live here all alone?
Yes?
The rooms will suit me admirably, Mrs. Wilberforce. I shall move in tomorrow, if that is convenient to you. Oh, there's one small point, Mrs. Wilberforce. Some friends and I have formed a small musical group. A string quintet, in fact.
Then you're a musician? A professor of music?
No. Merely an amateur, you understand. But we have been looking for somewhere to practice. Now, would it be agreeable to you
if you were to practice here? Oh, Professor Marcus, I should be delighted. I've always loved you.
I'm never going to hear that music quite the same way again, you know? I've heard it before, obviously. It's used quite often, but this is the one that kind of takes it to the next level for me because of its association with this movie. But man, let me tell you, man, Alec Guinness, he's such... I can't start... I got to start with him because, man, he's like such an underrated 20th century actor. I have to believe he's got to be right up there with the greats. Like, you know, I'd put him up there with enjoyment like Brando or any of the others, you know what I mean? It's like, he's that good.
Yeah, folks, you know, most of you, I'm not saying all of you, but I'm saying probably most of you, including myself, you know, we all knew Alec Guinness from Star Wars. This man plays so many different roles and does his best to get into the characters of those roles. I'm not going to lie to you. When I was watching this movie, and I watched it last night. I finally got down and sat down and watched it last night. There was one point I was sitting there looking at Alec Guinness's character and I was going, just everything, how he was, his mannerisms, the way he looked, just everything about that character. And the only thing that I could come away with was this. If he had a different voice, I would not know that was Alec Guinness.
Yes, I know, right?
Because it's just so good. He just dives into the role.
He blends into this character, and what he does between the makeup people and his performance is, and the first thought I came away with after I saw this was like, this guy, as he is in this movie, this character is like a character designer's dream. If anyone was to take like, you know, an animated approach to the same story, they'd be like so inspired by what he already did. In fact, they'd be hard pressed to top it, or at least to equal it, you know?
Now,
so good.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
I meant to actually send you this earlier, but I totally forgot to. Do you know why his character looks the way he does and acts the way he does? Do you want to know why?
I didn't find anything about that in my trivia search, but I have something else in the trivia for later. But yeah, I haven't seen that.
So I can give you a couple things. I saw this on Wikipedia yesterday, and then I'm also looking at it on IMDb right now. He said that he based his characterization off of another actor, Alistair Sim. I don't know if I'm saying that correct. So he based it off of that person. And there is a reason why he did that. The role of Professor Marcus, after he was offered the role of Professor Marcus, he did actually write to the producers and said, but this is meant for Alistair Sim, surely. Like, that's what he thought about. Like, you know, that to me, that says a lot because, like, it means that you hold someone else in high regard.
Yeah.
And it kind of, I would say he paid a little bit of homage to him and everything. And apparently it might have actually been written with that particular person in mind. This, because I'm reading this, says that he was unable to take the role. So Alec Guinness was cast instead, but the uncanny likeness to Sim was not accidental, as he was aware that the character had originally been written for Sim.
Okay,
therefore, he decided to play the role in the humorous but sinister manner that Sim was known for. And good night. This is a comedy. And,
It is.
and he does a good job of the comedy part of this movie,
Yeah.
but he is so delightfully, uncannily,
Gleefully wicked.
gleefully wicked, and he. There are certain scenes in this movie I was like, ugh. Like I had a shiver
Yeah.
down my
Yeah.
spine.
He's messed up. And,
Yes.
and you feel it even when you lay eyes on him for the very first time, which, by the way, the character introduction itself, you have him lurking outside his windows as a shadow. And it's both funny and menacing at the same time. It tells you exactly what kind of movie you're in for right out of the gate with no words whatsoever. Even before he opens his mouth, you could just look at the guy when he's first introduced. And it's like all the atmosphere, the way the parrots react to him. The parrot kind of gets his hackles up when he knocks on the door, for crying out loud.
You know, there was a scene, it's early on, I think. Well, yeah, it's definitely early on. I don't think they had committed the robbery yet. But there's a scene kind of early on where they're in that room. Well, like, there's like this part, and I don't know if it was a mess up or maybe they actually put it into the film and then like cut it because they're like, it doesn't really go with this. But like, Alec Guinness he has his back turned, and the guy's like, he's looking at him from behind, and I swear they had something in there where they had Alec Guinness just turning around menacingly because, like, it made him jump. And not Alec Guinness, it made the other guy jump. And it cut to a different scene. And as I was watching it, I was like, that was definitely in there. That had to be in there. There had to be something where he just turns around and he's got that creepy smile on.
Yeah.
Like, and it scares them. But I think that was probably too dark for the movie. And as dark as this movie is, I felt like maybe that was going more in the horror direction.
Uh-huh.
So they didn't want to do that. Because that's the thing, like, this movie is ultimately, like, it's a dark comedy. You could have made this movie with this particular cast of characters into a horror movie, and it would have hit. It would have 100% hit. But I saw what they were going for, and so I get why they didn't go that direction.
But the thing is, because they made it a comedy, and it's like you have this frail little old woman, right? And she's like, and you would never expect these big tough guys or these guys with wicked intent, they have all the power over her, you would think, right? And it's like, it's one of those classic inversions, right? The unexpected, what could possibly thwart? Someone, you can see a screenwriter sitting down, it's like, you have these guys, they want to use this old woman as a pawn in their plot to steal a bunch of money. What could upend that? And it's like, make her sweet and innocent and trusting and completely, and even when they try to lure her into, going along because, well, now you're part of it too, that lasts for about all of 5 seconds, and just enough to throw someone else at the police department a little bit like, that was odd. She's never been like that, kind of a thing. And it's like, it's like about 5 seconds. And then she's, no, I mustn't be doing this. She's just too good and virtuous. I don't know if it's shaming them, but it's like none of them, when it comes right down to it, even the guy who supposedly, Herbert Lom's character, as Lewis has supposedly killed before, and maybe he would have done it, but it's like he still passes on it. He doesn't volunteer himself, even though the others are clearly inexperienced in that area, because even that makes him uncomfortable. And so it's this very, it's like you have someone so pure and innocent, it shames these guys into basically offing each other off.
Yeah. And I thought that was funny that, like, as the movie progressed and they got to that point, well, we've got to do something about her. And none of them could do it. Like, even like, I don't think any of them would have really actually done it. Given, like, the opportunity, like the actual opportunity of the situation. In some ways, maybe if I don't want to call this a critique of the movie, like in a negative critique. If I had to critique it, though, in one way, maybe that whole morality of it, I think maybe like what some of them were trying to do or what decided to do downplayed the morality of actually killing her or potentially trying to kill her.
Because of the humor aspect, the comedy aspect of it? Or
yeah, what I mean is, like, how that most of them got out of it was through, I'll just escape with the money.
Yeah.
And, and I'm not against that. I thought that was kind of funny because, like, they all just kind of had the same idea. And it was the same dumb idea. And I say dumb idea because, it never worked out for any of them. And that's what made it funny. But, I think, that might have downplayed just a little bit of the morality of the situation because that's what they ultimately were going for. Is like, I'll just take the money and run myself. And it is what it is. So I'm not saying that it should have been different. I'm just saying that that might have been.
We try to vary up a little bit what each one of them does with the opportunity. Because, usually what happens is like one of them is tasked with killing her alone, typically, and they can't do it. And that's when they tend to bail. What I really like is kind of like the response, especially like Alec Guinness, is like how he still is trying to manage some sense of normalcy to Mrs. Wilberforce. One of the guys just tried to abscond with it, and it's like, very sorry, horribly, can't possibly, he's like, I am shocked and horrified by this. And it's like seeing him do that kind of stuff. And also in a related fashion, what he does when it's like he's put on the spot and Mrs. Wilberforce actually has the power over them enough to get them all into the music room to quote unquote play music for her bunch of old lady friends. And the look on Alec Guinness's face is priceless. I can't express it enough.
That was like such a funny scene. And like, I'm gonna be honest with you, like when those old ladies show up, I was like, yeah, this is gonna be one of those things, because I've seen tropes in movies before where like little old ladies like that show up and they just kind of clean house with everybody. Yeah. Like I thought I kind of saw it coming. And even still, I was like, that is quite hilarious.
It's that trope done perfectly.
Honestly, the only way that gets even funnier is and now, I don't know if this would have worked for this movie, but I do find it funny when you, like in an action scene, you find out that like these little old ladies like this can like get down. And like they wind up beating up everybody in the room. Okay. And there was part of me that was sitting there going, watch, someone's going to do something and they're just going to tear him up.
Take out an umbrella and beat people up with it,
Yeah. And I also thought maybe they would just wind up figuring it out for themselves. Of course, she did. Miss Wilberforce figures it out real quick. But I thought it'd be kind of funny if they also all figured it out as they were there.
Then what do? You have like how many old ladies you have to kill now, right? It does make me think there was a movie from the 1970s with Chevy Chase called Foul Play. It involves a plot about some plot to kill the Pope. But there's a scene there's an old person battle between two old people. And it plays out really funny for that, that kind of old person violence. We don't have enough old person violence in the movies, right? It's just funny. It's just really funny. It's got that very British kind of understated humor at times that I've said before I liked. There's even in the visuals, there's a scene with the horse. Remember the horse?
Oh, that was one of my favorite scenes of the movie.
Yeah. It only comes on for a brief moment, but there's a scene, part of that scene, the guy's cart who has all the fruits and vegetables says, eat more fruit on it, right in front of the horse. It's eating the fruit. I say that has to be intentional. And it hits the same level of humor without any words at all. It's that it actually thought to add a little bit of visual humor that matched the humor that's in all the other kind of understated stuff as well. I thought that was brilliant too. It's such a well-crafted film. It's not just the performances. It's kind of like every aspect of this film has been that just is carefully thought out.
You're absolutely correct. Very well thought out. I think because it's well thought out, everyone is fit to their role perfectly. Even if you have another person like Alistair Sim, who was actually meant for this role, it's just everyone fits in what they're supposed to do very, very perfectly. They had like good choices and they had good backup choices.
Yeah. And if I had to pick a close second for like my second favorite character, I think Danny Green as what was his name? As One Round. He's this big burly guy who is like, he looks like he'd be the toughest guy, but he's like got the softest heart, and nobody touches Mrs. Lopsided. And I'm like, I was so down with that line. It's like, because he's so like big and lumbering, but he got this sensitive spot too.
I thought that was awesome. And then I thought it was funny, like at one point where he says Miss Lopsided, and she's like, who's Mrs. Did he just call me Mrs. Lopsided?
Who's Mrs. Lopsided? Yeah. Oh man. This is just a terrific movie. It's like, yeah. I can't think of anything really detrimental to say about it, really.
If you're not a fan of comedies, you're going to wish this was a horror movie. That's the thing, or a thriller movie.
Find a different movie, guy. Whoever wants that, find a different movie. They're out there.
Yeah, I would say that, but like that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's the wild thing about this movie is that it could have gone either direction. Like, I would say in today's age, I can promise you, someone would have thought, what if we release this movie as a comedy, and what if we release this movie as a horror? Basically filming it in both ways.
Yeah.
Like, someone would have experimented doing that. I don't know if it's still the case, but if I also saw, I don't know if you know this or not, I don't know how much you trust or like Rotten Tomatoes, but this is like one of the rare movies that has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
And I totally believe that. I totally believe that. There's not a single scrap of wasted film on display.
And it's a shorter movie. Like, it isn't, and I'm not 100% certain that it needs any more time to it. Like, we've talked about that before, like, having movies that, like, maybe if you gave, like, a little bit more, but, like, we're introduced to our characters. We don't really need their backstories. We get a little bit of who they are, or at least what they tell us. Like, I think about, that part where Major's talking, like he's apparently doing this for his family. And,
I don't believe that for a second.
I don't really believe it for a second. And then also, Professor, Alec Guinness's character, he says that all of these gentlemen are all doing it for somebody else and everything. Oh, by the way, I thought one of the hilarious parts of this movie, and it shows that she was wrong a little bit, and I thought that was hilarious, is the whole thing about the money being stolen, and like they're saying they don't really actually care that the money's gone. And then you find out at the end of the movie, the cops say, yeah, they don't actually care about the money being stolen, like the money being gone. And she's like, huh.
and not only that, what's so brilliant about their writing is that one of the excuses that they use to try to get her to stop trying to turn him in, which is to say that nobody really wants this anyway, it comes back and she uses it. It's like, oh, I guess that's really true.
And I love that.
At that point, I'm speechless, dude. I am just speechless. Yeah. It's like that is like the cherry on top of the sundae.
Yes, yes. A movie like this, I will say, one of the things it has to fight with is breaking the morality of our good person. And that's the thing is like she's stalwart the whole entire movie.
It's important that she is.
Even when they almost convince her, she runs or she turns back around and she's like, no, this is wrong. This is wrong. And I do love that. The fact that the cops say, no, you can keep it. Even if they don't actually believe her, which I think they do to an extent, even though they said just keep the money, then we see what she's going to do with the money. Like she tells us exactly what she's going to do. And she's walking away and she gives a banknote of what it looks to be a very large banknote. You just see that she's going to steal, even though she's got the money that was illegally stolen, she's going to use it for good.
But she's the hero. She is the hero of this movie.
Do you know why? Oh, it's not done in this one. But on one of the posters, her name is actually at the very top. It's on purpose too.
Okay.
She
must be. No, I don't know why, but I did see the trailer I shared with you about this movie. It had her name as kind of in an honored position, kind of. And I figured that means she must have been like a kind of a well-respected actress in England at the time, I guess.
I will tell you why, because I just read it just a second ago. I want to actually read it again.
Hot off the presses, folks. Hot off the presses and old at the same time.
And her name's Katie Johnson, because Katie Johnson, who played the old lady, was already 76 when she got the role. Director Alexander McKendrick. I'm not sure if I said his name correct, but that's the point.
I'm going to say McKendrick.
Okay, McKendrick. Alexander McKendrick went to the distributor and asked if her name could be prominently above the title, saying that this might be her last movie. The distributor agreed, and she did die 2 years later.
Oh, wow.
And she only made one more movie after that.
But I'll say, to leave with that kind of a thing on your resume, I think to have one of the most well-respected films on your resume, even if you didn't do much of any note before that, I think that's got to mean a lot, that just you had one moment of shining glory. Even, I don't know what else she was in. Maybe we'll end up watching one of her other films, but I'm glad they did that because her role in this was so perfect. You couldn't have found a more sweet little old lady too, and you need someone who really embodies that. And she so did. She nailed that.
Oh, there's one other thing I want to talk about with this movie. When we watch what is known as black comedies, meaning that they're dark comedies or there's more you might not be able to sometimes tell the comedic elements because you're getting more of a, just bad things happening and bad people doing bad things kind of vibe on it. This movie definitely does not shy away from the comedy aspects. And when I say that, I'm not talking about like, the jokes that are throughout it and the way the characters act. No, like they even go as far as the sounds. Like that, like the bonk sounds. And
whenever one of them, you're throwing them one. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was like, I just like that. Anytime someone does something, they just kind of like, you have like that deep bonk sound. And
yep.
I thought that was really well done as it was going. Oh, and one of my favorite scenes in this movie, and it is comedy. It's when they're holding Now Dead, but when they're holding Now Dead one round over the ledge, and Alec Guinness's character, they're talking about like the old lady and everything, and he starts laughing, and the guy asked him basically what, and he's like, Alec Guinness just has this epiphany moment, and he says, it doesn't matter what we do. It does not matter what we do. Basically, her being here is, we're never going to win.
It is a fascinating thing where she's both. I don't know if I've ever seen another movie where the same person represents both the thing that makes it happen, which it does. If you think about their plot, it really is. It's kind of an ingenious plot when you think about it. But she is the linchpin to making them get the money and also never being able to keep it at the same time. It's fantastic. It's just this. I can't think of a better way to close the circle, on a movie like this. And with that, when it comes to those bong, the last one with Alec, obviously Alec Guinness is the main ringleader. He's the last one to go. There's actually, I don't know if you know that, if you saw this in your IMDb research, but there was actually almost an accident that happened with that stunt because the train crossing signal comes down on him as the train's passing, and he was supposed to stand on a certain mark, and they had a pin that was supposed to stop the motion of the thing coming down right as like within half an inch of his back, and apparently that sheared off. And it's only the fact that Alec Guinness was standing like a couple inches forward. I mean, he still got injured. It broke his costume. It split the seam of his jacket or whatever. But it's like that's the only reason why he probably lived is the fact that he was standing a little off his mark at the time. I thought that was kind of interesting.
I'll say, when I watched that scene, I was like, man, that looked like that actually hurt.
It probably did. Yeah. It really probably did. It's like Alec Guinness, man, giving it all for even if he didn't know it at the time, he'd given it all for his performance. Oh man, I mean, if it isn't obvious to you guys right now, I think we'll do our verdicts, but I think you guys out there probably know what we're going to say about this film. So you go ahead first, man. You go ahead first.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's very, I'm not going to play around with this part. It's a fortune and glory. Like, it's a good time. The only, this is not the movie's fault. I want to make this very clear. If I didn't give it a fortune and glory, it would only be a step down. And the only reason why it would be a step down is because it's very difficult to find this particular movie. It's not on Tubi right now. It's actually on the Internet Archives. And I think the copy that we watched was like someone did some digital enhancement to it. So it looks really good.
Yeah. I think there is. So
that's like the only negative aspect of this movie that I could even come up with. It's
hard
just
to find.
Not distributed. There is a remake that I think might star Tom Hanks. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah,
but
I've heard about that.
I'm surprised there's a remake. It's one of those things. It's like, why do you touch this again?
I mean, I agree with you. It's like this totally did not need a remake at all. I mean, and I know that it's looking back on. I only know a little bit about the remake. I know Tom Hanks is in it. I know that the Coen brothers, which are pretty renowned for their ability to turn in a pretty good screenplay, and they have done other movies where with kind of similar dark themes, if you're familiar with or at least other themes that are like, I'm thinking like Fargo, or they do comedy and dark well together. So if anyone modern day was going to do it, I'd say they're the ones to probably get the nod, if you know what I mean. At the same time, it's not considered one of their best, as far as I know, as far as I've been able to research. My wife has seen it and she says, nah, not really. So it's like, I'm not eager to see it. I'm probably not going to even bother with it, really. I got perfection on my plate already. And so, yes, this is fortune and glory for me too. This is as close to a perfect comedy as it gets for me. Yeah, I'm going to get this on my wish list for like a gift or something to have an actual physical copy. That's how good this is. It's in comedy terms, this and black comedy especially, this is worth its weight in gold. So yeah, can't recommend it enough. So anyway, folks, at this time, we like to remind our listeners out there that if you're having a good time with Ryan and me talking about these old movies in search of celluloid treasure, please do like, subscribe, comment, and of course, follow us on your podcast purveyor of choice. Tell us what you think we got wrong, because we're not perfect, and clue us in on a few titles you'd like us to see do on future episodes. As long as they're for free somewhere on the internet, because this adventure comes with no strings attached. And on the subject of future episodes, we've got one I haven't seen before, but I have heard about. So tell us about that one, Ryan. What do we got coming up?
This is going to be an interesting movie for a variety of reasons. One, the cast. Now, I know we've talked about a cast before, and like the movie doesn't impress us, which is unfortunate. But this is a very good cast, and it's a very well-known story. This movie stars Gregory Peck, Richard Basehart, and Orson Welles again. I think no matter what they offer us, we're in for an acting treat. It's directed by John Huston. I feel like we've heard that name before, but maybe
twice before, actually, and extra points if you can guess which movies we've done.
Not offhand.
So one of them is our very first one. It's The Man Who Would Be King.
Okay.
And also one of your favorites, or one of the ones you like more than I do, actually, which is The Maltese Falcon.
Okay, so we are in then probably for a treat. All right, this is what Tubi says. When a sailor joins the crew of a whaling ship captained by a man bent on killing a white whale, he is swept up in an obsessive and fatal pursuit.
Nice job with the Gregory Peck.
Yeah, some of you probably already know what this movie is, but for those of you that don't know what this movie is, it is the famous book. It's the famous tale. It has spawned so much in terms of how we view literature and words that we say in everyday language. This is the 1956 version of Moby Dick.
Moby Dick, yeah. I've never read the novel, have you?
I have read a couple chapters of the novel. I have not sat down and read it. I will say it's been on my list of things to actually get through. I won't be able to read it from now until next week. But, I know enough of the story to get me by and everything.
I know that it involves, revenge against a white whale and Call Me Ishmael. So yes. that's
Call Me Ishmael.
That's what I know.
I'm kind of curious to see who's playing who. Because we've got like three, I've seen all three of these actors before. I'm going to say that it seems like Orson Welles would be Captain Ahab. Is it Ahab?
No, it's not him. Gregory Peck plays Ahab, I believe.
Gregory Peck plays Ahab. Okay.
Richard Basehart
definitely Ishmael.
Ishmael, and Orson Welles plays some kind of a minister. I only listed his name because...
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if he was the white whale.
Oh, good. Dude, burn. Man.
Well, no. Like, I'm saying, like, I could see him actually playing the first, like, not because of his weight or anything like that.
Oh, well, that's what I was thinking, because that's what he's known for at the end of his life. He got, he kind of got big. Unfortunately.
I could see Orson Welles having had picked to play the white whale. You have, like, some kind of, like, you can have some, like, monologue from the whale itself.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, it was serendipitous that you mentioned it anyway, dude. Anyway, it plays well on radio. So anyway, folks. Yeah. All right, folks. Well, that's about all we got today. You guys take care of yourselves. Ryan, you take care of yourself. We'll see you all next week. And Ryan, I'll see you next week.
We're chasing the white whale.
Chasing the white whale. Bye-bye, folks. We'll see you next week.